So we could get ready for a good one, potentially on tap today from M&T Bank Stadium in beautiful Baltimore, Maryland. The 4th seed in the AFC playoffs in the wild card round will take on the 5th seed. The hometown Ravens square off against the visiting Los Angeles Chargers. Weather should not be a factor. They're expecting sunny skies. Temperatures around a comfortable 50 degrees or so around kickoff. However, wind could play a little bit of a role. They're expecting wind gusts 10 to 15 miles an hour, could get as high as 20 miles an hour. So keep your eye on the wind, but it should be sunny. Not quite as sunny as Los Angeles. You know, these two teams have squared off 12 times. San Diego leads the all-time series 7-5, but they lost this season I knew I'd say San Diego. Put the over-under at 3.5 for how many more times total I'll screw up and not call them Los Angeles. Los Angeles hosted Baltimore in Week 16. Baltimore with an upset en route to locking up a playoff berth at the time. The Los Angeles Chargers looking for that top overall seed in the AFC. Not meant to be, as the Chargers find themselves on the road as, again, road warriors. I'll get to that in a moment. The Week 16 matchup, 22-17. Ravens win. Lamar Jackson, his best day, the rookie, passing the ball in the NFL by far. 204 yards, 12 of 22, a touchdown pass, no interceptions, only rushed for 39 yards. Remember, running is his thing. I'll get to that in a moment. Phillip Rivers, the 15-year vet, never had a chance in this one. Started off horribly. First play from scrimmage through a pick 6. Baltimore boasts the top-ranked defense in the NFL this season. San Diego, not too shabby, number 9. Rivers on the year. That was probably his worst game against Baltimore. By the way, San Diego, their worst game in years against Baltimore on that fateful Sunday in Week 16. They failed to get 200 yards for the first time in an NFL game since 2014. Now, there are contrasting styles. We saw it in Week 16 between the two quarterbacks, okay? Rivers, he's known for being a passer. He's not much of a runner. Lamar Jackson, known for being a runner, not much of a passer. For the season, Rivers, again, a steady Eddie. He's accomplished everything, hasn't he, in the NFL, except, a big except with a capital E, winning a championship ring. But another great year. 68% on his passes, 32 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, well over 4,500 yards. Lamar Jackson in his 7 starts, 6 touchdown passes, 3 interceptions, a little over 1,200 yards, and he connected on 58% of his passes. Speaking of that running style of this guy here, Lamar Jackson, the rookie, it reminds me a lot of this guy here, Tim Tebow, the former quarterback turned New York Mets outfielder. Isn't it crazy? Tebow could potentially be strolling the outfield for the Mets in Citi Field this summer. That's a conversation for another day. But both guys are very similar, at least to me. First off, they're Heisman Trophy winners. Secondly, great guys. Great ambassadors for whatever sports they play. Class acts on and off the field. Very likable. I like Jackson a lot. But it reminds me a lot of Tebow. Tebow was drafted the last, or I should say 23rd pick, I think, in 2010. Jackson, the last pick in the first round in last year's draft, number 32. So there's a question mark of whether either guy would go in the first round. They did. Tebow forced into service in 2011 as a starter, as John Elway, John Fox, the then coach of the Denver Broncos, ran out of options. They had no other choices. They wound up with winning. They wound up going on a big win streak and getting some momentum, much like Jackson this year and the Ravens, 6-1 under his command. Tebow led the Broncos into the AFC Wildcard round, and he won a playoff game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Would lose the next week in Foxborough. Winner of this game, by the way, gets to go to Foxborough. Still the same quarterback in New England, Tom Brady, go figure. But Jackson this season, I mentioned his passing numbers. He's run for 698 yards, 5 touchdowns, okay? Now, Tebow's sampling size bigger. In those 11 games as a starter for the Broncos in 2011, he ran for, I got it right here, 660 yards, 5 touchdowns, average 5.8 a carry. Jackson 4.7 a carry. Tebow 12 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, about 1,700 yards passing. less on the completion, 58%. But there are eerie similarities to both. I think the difference is that the John, being John Harbaugh in Baltimore, actually digs having a running quarterback give his team a spark. Interesting. Right place, right time. I guess that's the story of life. Today, though, it should be very interesting, muy interesante, to see these two different styles of quarterbacks go at it. The game line, 3 points for the Ravens, who offensively, the Ravens are 9th in the league. The Bolts, San Diego, they are ranked 11th in the league offensively. What's left to do? Give you a score. I ran out of poster board. I usually break out the big poster board. I ran out. So I want a little ghetto, went to the manila folder, but hey, you can never have enough uses for a manila folder. So here's my score. 24-14. I like the Bolts winning in Baltimore today. And I talked about the road warrior factor, okay? 12-6, or I should say, I'm sorry, 12-4 on the season for Los Angeles, 10-6 Baltimore. Of those 12 wins, 8 have really been won on the road. 7 traditional road games. The 8th was a win at Wembley Stadium, where the Chargers played a home game in the UK this year against another playoff team, by the way, the Tennessee Titans. They've also collected wins in tough-to-play road places where you've got hostile environments like Seattle, Kansas City, Pittsburgh, a miracle win in Pittsburgh, where you've got winning teams with fans who are just outrageous and they're tough places to play. Not for nothing, as they say. You know, the Bolts also won a game against the much improved Browns in Cleveland. Not an easy place to play. Buffalo is not easy to go to for any reason, let alone for a football game. They also won against the Bills in Buffalo. So this team can take care of business no matter where they play on planet Earth. That's why I think the Bolts take out the Ravens today. It should be one heck of a football game. Enjoy the playoff from Baltimore.